Charlie. Hi, James. Thank you guys so much for coming in today. So to start out, I kind of wanted to just get a better idea of why it is that you guys are seeking services at this time.
Well, I don't know what to do anymore, honestly. I've tried everything. I just can't seem to get him to cooperate. He doesn't listen to anything. He doesn't help around the house. It's hard enough being a single parent. I mean, all he does is disrespect me, my house. He disrespects his teachers, authority. He's gotten in trouble with the police. All he does is stay home, skip school, hang out with the wrong crowd, do drugs, and then expect me to do everything.
What's your perspective on this, James?
I just like all the time, like he always says to do these dishes or do something like this, like that mess that I didn't make. Like I'm not responsible for a lot of the messes that happen around the house. Like I don't think I should do them. And my friends, like we're not even doing anything like bad. We're just smoking pot.
Okay, so it seems like there's been a lot of conflict over different rules and what's acceptable, what's not acceptable.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he says that he doesn't make the mess, but I'm not the one in his room throwing laundry everywhere and completely trashing the place, leaving bags of chips everywhere.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. So it definitely seems like there's a lot of blame to go around, and I feel like there's maybe another way that we can look at this that doesn't put somebody in that blame seat, and it kind of helps to when you can look at family dynamics and how they're kind of contributing to the problems that are the different conflicts that you guys are describing. And so I'm wondering if you guys can think back to a time, maybe something, an argument that is frequently occurring, or maybe an argument that happened recently, and kind of go back and reenact that just so that I can get a better idea of the different dynamics that are at play. Because I know one way, of course, to discover the different patterns that go on in a family is, of course, to talk about it. But I found that the most helpful way for me is to kind of see it in action. So can you guys think of an example of?
Yeah, I can point out just yesterday, I was running late for work because I work all the time to make sure that I provide for us. It's just my income. And so we were in the living room. I'm getting ready for work. I have to leave. I'm running late. If I lose this job, why don't we lose everything? I mean, everything's my responsibility. And I said, if you're going to miss school again for no reason, because I can't force him, I have to go to work. So if he's going to stay home, then I just need him to at least do the dishes. And he has 101 excuses as to why he's not going to do it or why it's not his job, and it always falls on me. So I'll come home from a long day's work after being exhausted trying to make quota, and just to come home and he's either high or not there. Everything's a disaster. The dishes aren't done, and so I have to go and clean up after him and me and keep everything straight. Otherwise, it's not going to get done because he doesn't know what responsibility is.
Okay, well, it definitely seems like that might be a good example for us to reenact, so I can just kind of see how things go and have a better idea of the dynamics that are taking place. So if you want to start with that scenario, Charlie.
Yeah. James, I am literally late again. If I'm late anymore, I don't think I'm going to keep this job. Is there any way, since you're not going to school, that I can just have you unload the dishwasher? Like, that's all I need you to do.
But it's not my dishes that I made a mess. When I make a mess, like I'll clean it up. But I don't see how it's my problem.
But you don't clean it up. You don't clean anything up. Your room's a disaster. I do all the dishes. You act like you don't use any of the dishes.
But it's not like that's all the time. Like that happens every once in a while, but it's not all the time. It's not like I do stuff here and there.
You're right. It's not all the time. It's none of the time that you do anything. You eat off of the plates. You use the forks. You drink out of the cups. And I'm the one who washes them all, puts them in the dishwasher, runs it, puts them away after I come home from a long day of work. And all you did was get high, go hang out with your friends, get in trouble by the police.
And you always blame it on getting high or hanging out with friends, and it's not. Like I try to avoid, coming home and being around home because you always want me to clean up stuff when I'm not even around half the time. Like I'm high. You always think that like that has a play in it, but I'm not home. If I'm high and I'm not home, how is that like
I don't even,
bothering you?
I don't
How is that making messes?
I don't think you even remember because you come home, open up every bag of chips, leave them everywhere, throw them under your bed, make whatever you find in the fridge, throw your dishes in the sink with food on them, and then go up and fall asleep till 12 noon, 2 in the afternoon.
All right, and see.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's great. So, you guys are really good at reenacting. I have a lot of families that come in and I'll ask them to reenact, and they feel really uncomfortable in that. So you guys did a really great job with that. So based off of that and just kind of my interpretation of what was happening, a lot of times with families, I'll kind of describe the family in relation to a team. So like a sports team. Think about any type of sports team. You'll have different players, different roles within the sports team, and each has a different function in order for that team to function effectively and to essentially win. And I really like to look at the family in that same way, because in a family, each member has its roles, and in order for the members to function, the family to function effectively, they have to be fulfilling those specific roles. And so that kind of brings me to the hierarchy in a family and how it's designed to be is the parents at the top and the kids at the bottom. And it's kind of just been designed that way in order for a family to function well. And so I want to task you guys with an assignment. So next time you may have an argument about the dishes or another argument, instead of approaching it that way, approaching it as Charlie, your role would be to assume the role of the parent, and James, your role would be to assume the role of the kid. And I promise that's the role you want to be in, because being a parent comes with a lot of responsibilities on its own, and so you definitely don't want to be there yet. So is that something you guys feel like you could handle?
Yeah.
Between our sessions?
Anything's worth a try.
Okay, great. All right, well, I really appreciate you guys coming in today, and I look forward to meeting with you guys next week.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Much appreciated.